And well, you found us again. Small biz, big ideas. And tonight, I'm flying solo. The best head of hair in small business, Charlie Dirador, is with the family tonight. So he's left me at the controls in our brand new virtual studio. But as always, we bring you not just guests, not just good guests. We bring you top flight of the world kind of guests. And tonight we have Javier Sanchez from First Citizens Bank, Vice President from First Citizens Bank. Javier, thank you very much for joining us.
Jim, thank you for your invitation. I feel really honored to be part of this podcast today.
So, obviously, folks, as we know, as I've said, Javier works at a bank. We're gonna get to what has always been our big buzzword here on the podcast Capital. But Javier, start us out. Tell us a little bit about yourself and about your background.
Okay, well, my name is Javier Sanchez, as you mentioned. I'm the Vice President and Financial Sales Manager with First Citizens Bank. And most likely I'm working with a small business and family-owned companies in the greater Fredericksburg area, helping them to access to capital, improve cash flow, and develop actually financial strategies that support their growth. That actually trying to help them every day. And I got more than 20 years banking experience. I've been doing everything since I started as a mortgage loan officer, like a personal banker, investment banker. I got managing experience, managing two banks and as a branch manager. And but also in my past life, because I'm originally from Chile, I've been working on the family business around 10 years as well too. A little bit more than 10 years, but with them, because when you are with the family, you start early working with the family.
What what's the family business?
My dad actually started in the early 70s, and he represented graphic machines from US and Europe in Chile and South America. Then that is actually a fun job because is it was a lot of travel around South America, and even coming to US for trade shows or Europe. That was the fun part. I'm gonna say that.
Nice. Okay. Okay. And why banking? What got you into banking, and what was the interest there?
Um, my actual, I when I went to college, I got a degree in business administration and major in management. And I always since I was a study in college, I was we always looking for the banking a way to start the financial in a life and in my country. Then, but never had the opportunity to do in there for all the family reasons and the family business. But when it came to America, I did different things. Of course, when you come at the beginning, nobody's gonna hire you for your background, and it's kind of you start from the bottom.
Right.
And but actually, I was working once. I was a manager at Walmart. Actually, I was the night manager at Walmart, and my wife was a real estate agent. And one of the loan officers said, "Hey, do you think Javier want to become a Spanish loan officer? We need a Spanish loan officer here." And I said, "Okay, let's try." I didn't actually left the work in Walmart because I worked at not at Walmart, and I started work. I make a deal with my manager working during the weekdays, and I work in all the weekends, and I give it the weekdays off. And in 3 months, I made my salary from the year from Walmart, and that's what I started on the banking, the banking industry. No, it was fun. Actually, I like it. I like it. I like it. That's I love lending. I help a lot of people, especially first-time home buyers, and I work different companies, and especially with the state programs like a VHDA. I used to be a trainer for first-time home buyer classes as well too, and I partner with the Realtor Association as well too to especially help them with the Hispanic community in town.
So mortgage lending, I know that's uh, important, obviously, because
Yeah,
you're helping people actually get into homes.
yeah,
But I would think that's also tough because it is, especially first time home buyers, all the anxiety that folks are feeling, and they've never been through that process. And as we know, that's a process. People have that's almost like hazing when you go through that process the very first time.
it's actually is a little bit more challenging right now because we're always talking about first-time home buyer affordability. But right now, what actually and I've been in a lot of like meetings and talking about the industry because I lead one of the committed in the Realtor Association. And but right now the challenge is the accessibility. We got people making good money. Uh, they can actually they got good salaries, but they cannot able to afford by themselves to get their house. Then you need to get two income together, at least two income together, sometimes three incomes to really get access to a house. And this is especially in this the Nova area, I'm gonna say Northern Virginia area, is getting really an issue with the accessibility into the houses. And unfortunately, the other aspect of the Airbnb is to start taking all these houses that used to be more concentrated for a more affordability to people because it's in a small prices that take it off the market because they're using for another purpose. Then the accessibility is a big issue right now for the mortgage industry and access to the houses. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, for a different podcast, but I have some theories on housing and some other things that yeah, it's amazing that what are we at now? About 19 years since the bubble burst, and who would have thought 19 years later we would be where we are now
I
with
know.
housing, right? And it's impacting people's businesses, right?
Yeah,
Because in the past, someone, if they had a functional business that they, maybe weren't making a lot of money, but they were doing okay. It was enough that they could go maybe get the first house or maybe buy a slightly larger house. But to your point, number one, there's less on the market because of these accessibility issues, and then legitimately, homes have the prices have ascended so high that you can't just barely be marginally doing okay in that business. You got to have a lot of bandwidth there in order to
yeah,
be able to use that to get into that house now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
You're
it's a
absolutely right.
lot.
It's another. We can talk another podcast about that. It's we can spend the whole hour talking that.
Yep.
And
So, how did you get into business lending from the mortgage side?
that actually was during my career, like into the financial industries. Of course, it came the big issue in 2010. Then we have my wife being a realtor, myself being a loan officer, both having the eggs in the same basket. We start talking about, hey, somebody needs to go to salary. That's it's a big
Right.
it's a big issue right now. Like we both commission like something. Then I said, my wife has more experience and on the real estate and a big more like a book of business. And I said that let me go try and I start on the retail first on the retail banking. Then in 2010, I started working at Wachovia, got become Wells Fargo, and I made my whole career to business. And I did this a little bit business, but more likely investment, and and I started actually managing a branch as a branch manager for 8 years. And but after was managing the biggest branch in town, biggest in book of business and revenue. Actually, the branch has it, and it was a point that I reached a ceiling that my next steps it will be trying to move out to another state or somewhere else. And I was in a point of the career that my family was not in that part, and it was when the first citizens came along 3.5 years ago. I was overwhelmed with everything in Wells Fargo, for many reasons. That's where everything was happy with them, and I always need to be the face of them, to put most likely the face for it.
Right.
And one day I remember, I got a really bad day at the bank, and I've been looking myself what's what's gonna be me in 5 more years, and I've been seeing doing the same thing. I feel like kind of a little depressed, and it was when I get the phone call from a former employee who actually worked in Wells Fargo, working at First Citizen, said, "Hey, Javier, are you ready for a change?" Literally, after taking that call, I said, what do you have in mind? Well, the manager here actually left, and they're looking for a new manager. And I told them that you will be a good fit for the organization. And when I came, I started getting my interviews and talking with the district manager at that moment. I like the way actually the First Citizen operated. First of all, they told me, okay, you're gonna be the branch manager. They call financial sales managers, but you're not gonna do nothing on operation. You only oversee, and we need you to be 70% of your time outside as a business developer. And we're focusing more in business now here. And of course, we're a full service bank, but we're trying to start with doing the business, and after that, we're doing the personal stuff. And for me, it was the opportunity to kind of reinvent myself, and doing something that normally I used to do even when I work with my dad, because we normally do the meeting in restaurants or go to the customer places and customer business. We meet in there. Instead to them to come to the bank, I have to go to them, and that for me was something I love it in the way that actually I was able to really uh, get involved into the community that I wasn't. Wells Fargo keep it more in a bubble. First Citizen said, no, you need to go out. You need to be a community leader. And in the last 3.5 years, it's been a really good, amazing journey that's I able to rediscover even Fredericksburg again. I realized I was nobody in Fredericksburg until actually I started getting involved. And right now, I feel like I'm part of the community and contributing with the community as well.
Oh, that's good. That is very good. So, now you're in business lending, you're in the community. What are some of the biggest challenges you see, especially as it relates to small businesses, trying to um, get the capital they need? I mean, from where I sit as a lawyer, I always see one side of it. Our My co-host Charlie, as a developer, he sees it from one way, but actually sitting in a financial institution, what are you seeing as being the biggest challenges in folks getting to that capital?
That there are myths on the business lending, that they thinking, oh yeah, business lending is nothing to do with the personal credit, or business credit nothing to do with the personal credit, but it's something is being related to directly. That's and Because at the end of the day, every lender will ask for your personal guarantee, and if you don't have a good personal credit, you're not going to have anything access to the capital on the business side. And however, on the other side, normally the business credit is a blended score using your personal credit with the business credit created. In an early stage, when you don't have that much actually business credit, it will be really impact on the business credit how the personal credit is for the owners of the company. Then this is the first biggest challenge that I see, having that explanation that I tried to say. It's been especially we've been noticing that with talking about all the bankers and we got meetings, increasing in the usage of the personal lines and increasing the personal debt for the business owners. And that has been a big impact in get access to the business capital, because they're still looking for how the debt or the level of debt that the business owner has it as well too. That is a huge, I'm gonna say, challenge right now, the personal debt and the deep business debt. Yeah.
What would you recommend to, someone who either they have a startup or they're just starting their business and they're looking at financing it off of HELOCs or their credit cards, or if they're getting money from family? What would you advise them if they're just starting out? They're not ready necessarily to step into an institution and ask for a loan, but what should they know kind of at the beginning before they get too far down a road that they can't maybe walk back from?
Get informed. And there are a lot of resources out there for new business. And the economic develop authority agencies and local. I got really good relationship with the EDA from the city and also Stafford. And both of them, they reach out to me, Javier, you got people that don't qualify for a loans. Without all these loan, micro loans we can give away and people don't ask for it. Then the money is there. People don't ask for it. The other day I was in a conferences with the Virginia EVP that's saying the same thing. They got money even for pay for intern, for actually to you get intern help you with your business, and they actually pay their salary for them to help you with your business. But people don't ask for it. Don't ask for the
Right.
money. That's is but it's information most likely. And but also it's a good start with any traditional bank because, like I said, if you are in a good credit-wise position and you still don't actually utilize your personal debt to start the business, because it always is good to have a good savings to start a business. When you start with a debt, it kind of like predicted to fail. Because most likely any access to capital we can provide at the bank or even a traditional bank, we always said line of credit is for the day to day. It's not to live with the line of credit. Same thing with the credit cards. Is just supplement of the cash flow, and and that's got another topic because they don't understand the cash flow. That's a big part of the I was gonna say of the issue that the business owner has. First of all, understand their own cash flow to see what exactly needed and what time do they need it to supplement that what they need.
Right.
That is a big issue. I can see it as well too.
One of the things that seems to be kind of a big challenge is that financial literacy piece. Um, I think most people struggle with that personally, but it also seems that businesses struggle with financial literacy as well because, um, you're trying to figure out how to make payroll that week, and it's like, listen, it's either I'm doing it on that credit card or it's not going to happen, right? But that it feels like there's a need out there for more programming around financial literacy. Like I said, both personally and definitely on the business side as well.
Yeah, and it's true. Actually, my bank they always tell us like we got actually hours that we asking us to provide, even actually that financial education, literacy, and I've been we offer sometimes with organizations, and that's the point. That organization as well too is who's the business organization is who have to lead that journey. We can be the speakers. We can be the hey, you need Javier. Can you come to explain the cash flow? Yes, I love to. But there are not that many local business organizations that offer that type of literacy, like you're saying, and that actually can be helpful for the business owner to take and actually apply it. Because yeah, they can be in a conference, they can hear someone for to get a good like a coffee or breakfast, but do you really impact something for them? No, but to really be like a workshop, and I'm gonna say local. I guess it's a deficit for the local organization, maybe in every part. Yeah.
So it's easy to focus sometimes, I think, on the negative stuff. But
Mm.
what are some of the positives you've seen for small businesses, kind of since you've stepped into this role?
Something I've been seeing, especially in the area where I live and with the business I've been related, that a big collaboration to support local business between local business, and especially in this area. And I haven't speak more like in other from Northern Virginia, but they are a big movement to, hey, you want to do it local first, use the local, even if a little more expensive, but they create a microeconomy that helps support each other for everything what you have. And this is something that need to be embraced and continue supporting and through networking groups through different associations everywhere that actually bring pieces together, get the opportunity to collaborate each other. That's a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things I have always said is that a small business is a form of economic development authority, right?
Yeah.
Because let's say you own a restaurant, well, but you need a plumber. Well, that's going to be a small business person. You need an electrician. That's probably going to be a small business person.
Yeah.
You're buying certain products, certain foodstuff products from a farmer. That's probably a small business person. You need to have someone help you with your taxes. That's probably a small business person, right? So that when you start looking at it, all the businesses around that small business, it's like its own little economic development authority, because that one small business is feeding all these other small businesses, which are feeding all these other small businesses. And I think sometimes people forget that. They always look at you know, the big businesses, and
Mhm.
that's what they focus on. It's like, hey, there are but a few true big businesses out there.
Yeah.
There are tons of small businesses that we deal with every day, and sometimes I think we kind of miss that piece in it. So in your job, you're out there, you're doing a lot of business development, talking to a lot of people, talking to a lot of different organizations. What would you recommend to a small business as to, you know, if they want to spend some time networking beyond traditional business development for, whatever it is that they do, where where are some good types of organizations they should spend their kind of time with, uh, networking with?
Um, there are a ton, and different. Actually, they is my advice. It will be, for example, I part of one of them is called 212 networking group referrals, and normally those groups they secure a seat per business, but also encourage to people to bring people to growth organizations, and that's the way I like it, because sometimes you can bring people from the same industry, because you can get two people, they say they're doing the same, but not necessarily they're gonna doing the same. Then and that's they're gonna say the power of the networking. Networking is not the point who's your competition, is how can I collaborate with my competition, because I always said I'm a really good friend with every banker in town. Actually, I'm not really talking about nothing bad about the other bankers. We always I collaborate. I've been receiving referrals from other bankers. I've been giving referrals to other bankers as well too, because there are a couple of things that we don't do here. And when I met with them, hey, what specifically you do? What is your specialty? And I told them, this is mine. This is what we don't do here. If I got someone, I'm gonna
Right.
send it to you. Because at the end of the day, it's also helping the customer at the end, and that's and and you never know who's going to be the decision maker if you switch in bank to bank. It's, hey, what do you think about Javier? You don't want to have something talking about bad about
Right.
you either. That's it's all about like a collaboration, and always got a good word for everyone. Or I can be the decision for, if we hired a new banker, said, hey, what do you think about this guy? And of course that's a good thing always to get that collaboration between each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So, because you do business development, you've seen kind of what's out there and what people need. Um, kind of what uh, Have there been any programs that you've started or anything you've kind of focused on based on what you've seen since you've been in this role?
And thank you for asking that question because yes, they are actually about year and a half ago, and I remember actually like I've been look I participate really actively in the local chamber of commerce here, but I've been seeing there are not that many like a Spanish business around there.
Right.
Then then I start actually telling them, hey, I can offer my time to see maybe get a lecture, like invite the current like Hispanic business with the purpose to hey everybody bring some Hispanic business and let's talk about what about the chambers and how everything works. It's a good like membership opportunity for you guys and maybe we can get more Hispanic patients know each other and collaborate each other. Long story short, didn't really work out really well that, and I was in a networking event at the FedNat, and
Hmm.
is the local single leg baseball team here in town from the actually from the Nationals, from the Washington Nationals, and I was talking with the GM and told him about this. I said, "But Javier, I sponsor you. Let's do it here. Start your group, and they actually have a day a month that they change the name dedicated to the Hispanic community, and they call Fundadores of Fredericksburg, and they said, hey, let's do that. My challenge here is bring like Hispanic people to the park, and half of the team is Hispanic, and Hispanic community don't come into over here. I give you all the opportunity to networking. You can meet in over the games. I give you a club ticket for all your people that you wanted. Just give me ideas to do, and you do your function. And they give us the give us the space to do it. And I start actually with that. Okay, that's in my mind. I start plugging all my like networking group that I participate, and I said, hey, you know someone who actually is a business owner, Spanish. We're gonna start in a new group. It have to be from Fredericksburg because there are a lot of Northern Virginia in Richmond, but nothing like that was actually created here in Fredericksburg. Then I said, tell them we're gonna get a meetings, and we're doing the meetings in Spanish. We don't actually do it in English. Everything is in Spanish. And but one of my actually motivation to do this is to into the Hispanic community that the business owners see the competition like an enemy, and they don't know how to network. And you never seen Hispanic, or it's really rarely you see Hispanic business networking in a normal settings because when they see competition, trying to stay away or don't do it. Then my idea was trying to change that pre mindset that the Hispanic business has it. And I still recall our very first meeting that actually have it, and it was two cleaning companies, and one of the smaller cleaning companies approached to me and said, "Hey Javier, you know what? I think it's not gonna be continue coming here." I said, "Why?" Because you already have another cleaning company. And I told her, hey, did you ask her what you do? No. Did you tell her what you do? I said, no. Go and talk with her, like I said. Long story short, the other person was commercial, she was residential. And at the end of the day, even I guess they subcontracting her when they actually were overloaded to actually help her with their stuff.
Wow.
And she was able to realize, wow, when I see that for me, it's, okay, this is going for the right direction. And it's been about 2 seasons. As we start 2025, we're in the second season actually doing this. And in the off baseball season, we start getting a group that we're gonna start doing like you mentioned it before. We're gonna start getting a speaker on some financial literacy, or with someone who specializes in something in different can do like have a speaker who speak with the whole group for something important for the business community. Yeah.
Wow. That is big. I mean, how many people, how many businesses do you generally have that kind of participate?
I had a limit for 25 tickets normally have, but normally come like a 18. But in my 2 seasons that we actually have it now, it's been about 55 business is been sitting in the now we're trying to start a local directory. Then we can try to get it more formally, and also I've been talking. We got a meeting next month with Ernisha Hall with the Black Chamber of Commerce, because
Yep.
she started kind of in the same way, and we don't try to invent the wheel. We just try to
Right.
try to get a collaborate. Hey, can you give us an idea, or what you're not doing it? We need to do it right now, like like stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna meet with Ernisha next month as well to talking about that and the initiative as well.
And Ernisha was just a guest on
Yeah,
here,
I saw
um,
that. Yeah,
and they've got their big Black Expo this weekend, so I'll
yes.
be out there for that. Um, are there? I know Fredericksburg is its own bubble.
Yeah.
What are kind of some of the challenges Hispanic businesses are having um, there in Fredericksburg?
Um, some of them that we're talking right now, access to the capital, and immigration laws has been big lately. How we actually facing that last year when we had the meeting, when um everything started about the eyes, it started getting more like a, hey, make sure actually somebody knows a lawyer, make sure everybody, tell your friends, get it, everything in rule, because you have a situation with one of my wife's customers. They took them, everything it was under his name. It was no power of attorneys, no paperwork to the rest of the family, almost got nothing to do if they need to sell the house, the car, and everything. And we start actually getting a little social internal electoral
Right.
communication with that part. That has been a big challenge, especially access to the capital, because we used to get program with different type of immigration status, but now it's been restricted. Even SBA,
Right.
believe it or not, now SBA doing like U.S. citizens don't even actually resident aliens, and this is huge. That is, like I said, that is a huge change happening now. That is restricted for Hispanic business, because there are a lot of them. They're resident aliens, and resident alien. We're talking about people supposed to have the same access for everything,
Right.
and it's not. Yeah,
Yeah. No, that is going to be a significant game changer. That um, unfortunately I predict what's going to end up happening is there's just going to be money left sitting on the table, right?
yep,
Because so many businesses are immigrant families or started by immigrants, and to take the immigrant community out of that mix, it almost makes no sense.
yeah,
Not almost, it does not make sense. Um, and so, uh, yeah, the impact on yeah the
yeah.
impact on lending as a whole, I think, will be
It's huge
yeah,
because unfortunately, it's all catch base. And what's going to happen? Let's see if it's this change. They're going to be probably 1, 2, 3 years on catch base. Then when we need to get access to the capital again, it's not going to be credit established, and they're still going to be on the circle to the non-traditional credit, maybe paying over like a high interest rate lending just to continue operate it, and that's a big challenge. I was going to say.
right. That's a giant challenge.
Mm.
If you could be king for a day and you could legislate from on high, what are two or three things you would want to do to help small businesses, you know, be better, make it easier? I guess is a better way of saying it. Make it easier for small businesses to access capital.
Oh, it's
It's a wide, very
yeah,
wide question.
I know, and you know, like I'm working in a traditional bank. We're really traditional. We're really conservative, and it's historically like a business 2 years, not necessarily success or fail. is a trend. And I will gonna say is something that we discussed before: access to the information literacy and training. Because someone sometimes get into the business without experience. They have a know-how how to do things, but they don't know how to really run the business. And a lot of the new business, they said, "Oh, I'm your best." Actually, when decided to move out to the big company because it's the big guy, when they realize it's not the same thing when you go solo or when you're trying to go there. Yeah,
Right.
you might have, but there are more actually that's going to say information training, and it is and not to discourage to people that they know something to is go solo, but they really make a informative decision using the resources that you needed to really be successful.
Yeah, it is kind of my experience working with small businesses has been, a person, I'm making this up, a person is really good at making ice cream and they are amazing at making ice cream, but they're terrible at maintaining their books. They don't know how to make payroll on time, right? They don't know how to file their paperwork with the state, right? So that front end doing the technical thing, they're very good at that. It's the back room stuff, right? The actual business stuff that they struggle. And worse yet, they can't afford to hire an accountant even on a part-time basis to help them with their books. They can't hire someone who will help them file certification paperwork with the state. And so I think the technical assistance seems to be like it's I think that's going to forever be a big issue, right? Because if you don't know how to do those basic things, I think a lot of businesses think, oh, well, as long as I make the best ice cream in the world, it's just going to sell itself and everything's going to be fine. It's like, well, that's part of it. That's not all of it, because there's so many other things you have to do. And I'm sure you see this all the time. And really maintaining your books properly is one of the things I've seen so many small businesses struggle with.
But also there's something that you mentioned it that is still the small business, they don't see the value to pay for the services. I give an example, like I know everybody in America wants to do it yourself. You got a plumbing issue, you fix it. Hey, it took me 5 hours to do it. But if you start actually calculate it, how much is they pay you for per hour to spend that 5 hours maybe with your family, and they start making the calculations. But the same thing with going with the business. I just give you an example, like something actually do it in your home, actually taking time away from your family. But sometimes if you start calculating what is your what is you're losing to be, instead to actually doing the books, to pay someone to do the books,
Yep.
I'm gonna bet you that if it's taken to do a book 4 hours a week, and you pay someone who's gonna do it in 2 on 1, it will be actually more productive. You're probably gonna make more business in those 4 hours, looking for business and doing business,
Right.
that really doing yourself. And that culture of the doing yourself and trying to pay less, sometimes it's affecting into the successful to be successful. Outsourcing when you're smaller, using like this company, they're fractional CEOs who can help you to get stuff done while you actually concentrate to continue doing ice cream, and get the fractional CEO do the other part. Because if you actually missing 1 hour, 2 hours to doing ice cream, you're probably gonna get two more production in 2 hours to get more ice cream to sell,
Right.
and pay for services. Sometimes pay for services is not bad, and if you need to realize one of the beauty that we do it, we only got one branch here in town, and they ask me, why you only got one branch? Because we're looking for business that doesn't really need a branch. We can bring the branch to them because we
Right.
understand business need to be concentrated what they do and don't spend time in the bank in a line or driving to the bank and doing stuff like that. And sometimes that mindset of the business owner, do it yourself, is a big failure to it. Big failure to it. Yeah.
Yep. And I think you also miss nuance, right?
Yeah.
Because if I think you'll agree with me on this one. If you're doing your own taxes, sure, you may hit all of the salient points and you may do enough to not get yourself in trouble, but there may be deductions you're not taking advantage of. There may be, very nuanced things about your business that you may be missing out on those nuanced things just because it takes a tax professional who follows the regulations all day, every day, and they know how to take advantage of those things for you. And so, sure, you may be just fine checking the boxes necessary to file, but you end up leaving money on the table, right? Because you didn't want to spend the $250 to have someone do it, and it ends up costing you thousands of dollars, right? In deductions or things like that you can have.
Yeah.
And for the record, I'm not saying that's a guarantee, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm saying that's the but that's the things you've got
Disclosure.
to, right, right. I think it's those things you've got to keep your eyes open for because you can't be perfect at everything. You just can't. You just can't do it all. And um, especially when you're busy doing the technical thing that got you in the business in the first place.
Yeah.
Um, uh, so as we start to wrap up, first of all, where if folks are interested in coming out and joining the group that you started, how would they do that?
Send me an email, and you can share my information. You can send my email, and I'm looking for like a business in the greater Fredericksburg area. That means Stafford, the city of Fredericksburg, Spotsylvania, King George, and Caroline County. Uh, Trying to actually get together. We already have about 10 meetings already about that, and also participation in collaboration in some of the Copa nights with the Fred Nuts, and looking to get together. And we're trying to start a local directory. Then, because the idea is we need to start doing business together. That's I still remember. Uh, I used to be really big. I remember in Wells Fargo when I was a personal banker because it's a different strategy. It's a mass strategy. I was the only Spanish banker. I got a big like a clientele with Hispanic people. But when I came here, I didn't see that much. And I remember one time I was talking with another manager from Maryland, and he was successful. He said, "Can you tell me what you are so successful?" I said, "The Hispanic community, man. You need to be focusing. A lot of people, we forgot about that. They got business, they are behind it, but we don't pay attention to them. And this is a way actually I'd like to start connected with them. That's for me is a way to I get paid off just seeing how they can network and teaching them, hey, this is all the groups that you can go and start plugging in other groups. Because when they actually start plugging other groups and getting into it, they get into the community and get exposure. Exposure for networking is something that they don't do. And it's going to be, like you said before, they're going to know another plumbing, another electrician, another HVAC person that they can help and they can collaborate. Yeah.
Yep. And your next event, when is that next event or next meeting?
The next meeting, we're gonna planning to do it on September 22nd. That
Okay.
one is TVD, the place we're gonna do. We're trying to get a speaker for that day. But if it's people, Hispanic people would like to go to the game on September 4th, the other thing that I do the Spanish PN announcements during the game.
Ah,
I'm the,
nice.
I'll
Nice.
do that as well too. It's a fun. I do it for 4 years. That is my connection with them as well too. I'm the Spanish announcer for them. Then if they want to go to a game, half of the PAs will be in Spanish and half in English because we do that. The pregame we do half and half, and during the game I'll do the away team and the official like a PA do the home team, Yeah, and it's fun. It's fun. It's fun to, yeah.
That seems like that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Okay.
September 4th it is, and also they're gonna be a Spanish business with tables from our group, and it's gonna be a table from our group as well. They're gonna collect information, and we're gonna be communicating what's gonna be the next meeting and who's gonna be the speaker as well too. Then even if they need ticket, I'm gonna get access to tickets to provide if they wanna go to that game. We got
Okay.
that accessibility too. If you share my email, I'm perfectly fine to do that as well.
All right. Well, we will make sure that we put your email address in the show notes. So
Yes,
anyone listening, if you read the description, we'll make sure we have Javier's email address in there, and you can drop him a line. And it sounds like you're doing amazing things for the
thank you.
community. Um, so as we wrap up, any last thoughts you want to put out there to folks?
Um, I gonna say know your community and be on the community because community actually help us to succeed. And if you know someone like ask for help. Sometimes sometimes business owner doesn't ask for help, and if you don't know something, try to find out the person who does it. You need to pay for it, pay for it. But something that we did, training, is important. Find out who is your local authorities and go and meet them and talking about economic authorities. And over here, we got economic development authorities in every county. And also we have in Mary Washington University of Mary Washington also has an agency locally here who help business as well to succeed in all the different ways. I was gonna say local chambers as well too, and Credit Chamber, the Black Chamber of Commerce. If you are Hispanic, connect with me. We can get that as well too.
Right.
Just connect and be yourself out there. It's gonna be a big part of your success. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay. Well, Javier Sanchez, thank you. I mean, you have you've blessed us. You've got some. I think you guys you're doing some great things in the community. Thank you very much for this. And to our listeners, make sure you like and subscribe. And as I always love to say, be good, be better, be best. Javier, thank you very much again.
Thank you, Jim, for this opportunity and all the listeners to be today.